Hello. Hiya. Hello. Hi, can you hear me? Hi, can you hear? Hello. I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. Hi, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, but I think you can hear me. I'll start sharing my screen. I'm really sorry, I can't hear anything you're saying. However, I can see you on video. So I know you're communicating back, but I just don't know what you're saying. Can you tap on your chat button? Right, I just want to let you know that it's on record, so you can go back through the recording, and also for quality assurance reasons. Today, we're going to go through Learning Outcome 5, and the aim is to know the role of Human Resources Department. And the first learning outcome states, which this one is actually for a pass, 5.1, describe different functions carried out by Human Resources Department in business. So that's the pass grading criteria. Then it moves on to a merit, which states, explain the benefits of employment legislation to employees and businesses. And for a distinction, it says, analyse the impact of employment legislation on business in a named country. So it says on slide 6 where we are now. So on slide 6, it's just showing that human resources is separate function, usually activities such as hiring, appraising, compensating and developing employees. It deals with promotions for staff, staff training and development, benefits and compensation, legal compliance and policies, implementing grievance and disciplinary procedures, workforce relationships, performance measures. So, as you can see on slide 7, it's got some questions that you need to answer within this first learning outcome. So, it states, explain what human resource management is and how it relates to the managing process. Show with examples why human resource management is important to all managers. Illustrate the human resources responsibilities in line, it says offline, but it should say in line, and staff managers. Briefly discuss and illustrate each of the important trends influencing human resource management. List and briefly describe important trends in human resource management. Define and give an example of evidence-based human resource management. So it obviously, if you start looking at them to give some form to your assignment, then that will start addressing that first learning outcome. And then you've got slide 8. Human resource management is the process of acquiring, training, appraising and compensating employees, and of attending their labour relations, health and safety, fairness and concerns. So that's human resource management at work, and then it's give what is human resource, and then it's give a definition, then it's give about the organisation, and then the manager. And then on slide 9, it's given the management process. So you might want to talk about that within your assignment. And then it goes on to slide 10. And that's just showing the different processes within HR. So all the different processes that HR has. And then if you go to slide 11, if you can see this one, you can obviously read out the personnel aspects of the job manager. So managers are involved daily with many of the personnel aspects of human resource management in accomplishing the organisation's goals. And then if you go to slide 12, it's got personnel mistakes. So we've got, why are the concepts and techniques of human resource management important to all managers? And then if we go on to slide 13, we are on there, hiring the right people for the right job and motivating, appraising and developing them will likely get the results you are seeking. And then if you go to slide 14, line and staff aspects of human resource management. So you've got the line manager, you've got the staff manager. And then all these, I know this is in depth, and to be honest, there's a lot of slides on here. The reason why there's so many slides and I haven't taken some out of the presentation is the fact that the slides will just give you an indication of exactly what to talk about to address that learning outcome. I mean, what it would be better to do is look at each of the slides and then put the slides into your own word, because some are just bullet points, and then go and do some academic research. So look in journals, look in books, and then write your own paragraph about your findings that you found within the slides, and then link it to an academic source or book. If you go on to slide 15, we've got line managers, placing the right person on the job, starting new employers in the organisation, training employees for all jobs that are new to them, improving the job performance of each person, gaining, creating cooperation and developing smooth work relationships, interpreting the firm's policies and procedures, controlling labour costs, developing the abilities of each person, creating and maintaining department morale, protecting employees' health and physical condition. And if you go on to 16, it basically shows how human resource manager directs the activities, which is the functions of HR managers. And then if you go on to slide 17, this indicates that the size of the HR department will be dependent on the size of the business and employees. So that's just giving an oversight of like how people at the top and how it facilitates down. And you might want to mention that, you know, they'll be dependent on the size of the business. If that's what your findings show, obviously back it up with an academic source. Get a bit closer to this one. And then you've got human resources, specialities, which is slide 20. And like I said, go down all of them because there's so many, there's so much information on here that you've got to take the information and then you need to revert it back because there's so much. Obviously, it's good in the fact that it's going to allow you to address that first learning outcome, but because there's so much, you could be talking forever. So all you need to do is link it back. And the first learning outcome is, let me just get to the first learning outcome. It only states one aspect if you're going for a pass, merit or distinction. Up to you. It just says the functions carried out by human resources department in business. So you might talk about numerous functions of human research. However, you might decide to delve into 3 aspects. And if you get a good analysis, if you put in the strengths, the weaknesses, if you're evaluating, if you're explaining the benefits, and you're analysing 3 of them, that will be enough if you're given an analysation to get a distinction. So it's up to you how far you want to take it. I mean, you don't have to do 10,000 words on the first learning outcome. I mean, if you want to do a lot of words, you can, but it's just about the quality that you've actually got in that first learning outcome, which will determine your mark, not exactly the quantity. And then if we go down to, because all these slides up until about slide 41 will all address the first learning outcome. And to be honest, there's that much information that they're self-explanatory. But if you do feel like you want me to explain or go over the slides, then you can obviously email myself. Then the second learning outcome says outline the key features of employment legislation. So what you need to do is you need to research employment legislation in these key areas. So you need to know and outline the features of what are the work hours, what does it state in legislation, what work hours should be. Also, within them work hours, how long should it be before you get rest periods? Is it 8 hours and then you have a break? Is it 6 hours and then you have a break? You need to go and do your research and find out. What does legislation say about holidays? How long have you got to be working until you're entitled to holidays? Or is it the fact that you get so many holidays per year? Shift work. What does legislation say about shift work? Does it say you can't work over a certain of hours? The minimum wage, what is the minimum wage? Is it dependent on age? And I've actually put all these down here. I've put questions on under legislation. So what does the legislation state about hours at work? What does the legislation state about holidays? How many holidays per year? What are your breaks in work? What does legislation state? What is the minimum wage? What does legislation state? Is it dependent on age? What is the legislation on sick leave? What is it on sick pay? What is it on maternity pay? Where can you go if you need assistance outside of work? Do you actually have a trade union? And what does legislation state about this? Are there any benefits or limitations of legislation within the workplace? So within this learning outcome, you've only got to outline key features of employment legislation. So that would be taking it to a pass. So that is your pass grading criteria because it's just saying outline. However, if you go back to the grading criteria again and you decide that you want a merit or a distinction, you take what it states and add on what it's saying within that analysis. So it's saying, I know that the distinction always 9 times out of 10 says analysis. The distinction, you put an analysis on it and the impact. And then for the merit, you're explaining and the benefit. So it's up to you where exactly you want to go to address these learning outcomes. Oh, sorry, I've just gone back to my screen because I've gone off. I was just checking. Somebody went offline. I was just checking that you were still there. Sorry. I'm just going to go back on chat here because I want to know if you've got any questions. And obviously you can hear me, but I can't hear your response. So I'm just going to type on chat. 1 second. Hi, I'm still online. I've just sent you a message on chat to see if you have any questions because I can't hear what you're saying. I know you can hear me and I can actually still see you on screen. So if you could just go on chat, is that okay? I don't know if you can hear me or not. I'm going to turn my camera on because I'm not sure if you can hear me. I don't know if it'll make any difference. Um, can you hear me? Hiya, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Um, I'm not too sure if the connection went off or the fact that the volume went off, but to ask you a question regarding material and references, like, I don't know if you heard me before, I'm just repeating myself, I'm not too, but I'll just state again that the presentation is just giving the bare bones of the assignment. However, within that content, it is actually addressing the learning outcomes, but it's up to you to go and research and link academic referencing to the material. So therefore, you can look on Moodle, and there should be some books that you can access on Moodle. However, I can put some journal articles and some academic information on there that you can actually link to your own assignment. You just need to obviously keep it in line with the Harvard referencing system. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me anything on email, so that I know that you understand the learning outcomes and you feel supported enough and that you've got the right academic information. But like I said, you can go on to Google Scholar. Scholar is good because the fact that it's going to be academic sources, much better than doing a Google search. So yeah, thank you for attending today's session, and if you need to go back over this, obviously it'll be uploaded onto Moodle. Thank you.